So I get asked this question a lot. It's surprising. I think it's because of the gold mining shows. I like watching Parker and the boys work. But that's all about big equipment. The gold mining is exactly that, gold mining. It's an enterprise. And if your gear, if your equipment isn't good, then you're fucked. If you're not good at business, yeah, you're fucked. If you're not good at numbers, if you're not good at understanding in versus out, if you don't have mechanical and electrical skills, and I mean, good skills, then it's not worth even attempting because, well, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. that's just the honest to God truth. Okay? But it's $100 a year for a gold claim. When it says BLM, that's your land. You can lease BLM land for more than just gold mining, other materials, and that's how most of these people way back got it for lumber. You can get a handbook, you can order a handbook from the United States government, okay, on gold mining regulations. Like everything else, in the good old days, okay, yeah, I saw the good old days where you could run, a 5-inch opening on your dredge. If you don't mind being underwater, you can dredge. If you don't mind hiking, you can metal detect. There's also dry mining. There are machines that do dry mining. It's dusty, nasty work, but it's a lifestyle. I truly believe that if you're young and you're healthy and you really want to do it, that you can do what my mom and her friends did, okay, towards the end of their lives, is they had gold claims in Arizona, and they would all go down there and metal detect. And then in the summertime here, they would all go up to Fells Flat. You can find that on the North Fork of the Feather River. And I mean, if we got a half ounce a day, that was a lazy day. If you were on any kind of pay streak, okay, because you see, with just 2 people working, a half ounce a day is pretty good for working 4 hours. So you're talking $800, $900. When gold's at 18, that's $900 a day. And the thing about placer gold is it's tax-free because it's considered a specimen. So that's not bad. And it's a lifestyle. Basically, they went back and forth, and then sometimes they'd go up to Washington and pick mushrooms for a living. They had a vagabond lifestyle, and they were very happy. They didn't pay rent. They had nice trailers that they pulled onto property that they had mining leases on. And they just moved from claim to claim to claim. Fantastic lifestyle. If that's what if you're looking for an off-the-grid living, then I would recommend gold mining. There's times when it's easy and there's times when it's really hard. You got to remember what they make you do in prison to punish you is move rocks. Well, that's what gold mining is no matter what you do. If you're hard rocking or placer or up in the old, alluvial beds, you are moving rocks, okay? It's the thing that ruins people is, you see, once you start getting gold, if you ever get a decent amount of gold for a decent amount of work, you're going to go, oh, and you will get the fever. I have seen it happen with too many of my friends, which is why I don't like taking people gold mining, because if you make it look easy when it's not, okay, I've seen people quit their jobs, everything, spend $50,000 on mining gear and then go fall flat on their faces because they didn't listen to what I said. They only listened to what they wanted to hear, okay? Gold is where you find it. If I went anywhere on the American River where there's an inside band and, if I followed all of the scientific, rules for where gold deposits itself because of its density, right? Yeah, right? There's not going to be any gold there because someone's been there before. Can you imagine 1,000 years ago when the Incan Indians were walking up here and all the rivers in California ran clean, serpentine bedrock like this, and all the cracks were full of gold. I can't imagine the amount of gold they took out of here, really. I know that's what happened. I just have a gut feeling that's what happened, okay? Because their gold-bearing land was nowhere near as generous to mankind as these set of plates here in Northern California. Okay, when the Pacific plate pushes in to California, it stacked up like that. Okay, these plates stacked up, and there's water in between all of these plates. The reason Nevada looks like it does is it's towards the end, okay? All of the heavier elements have already precipitated out. And that's why California had a lot of gold and Nevada had a lot of silver. It also has a lot of lithium. Only 10%, 11% of all of that deposited gold has been recovered. Now the miners, they go into those channels. They're digging in those layers that it has the gold-rich material. Volcanoes make gold and diamonds, and there's a lot out there. There is enough gold out there that if you're determined, because it's hard work. Most people expect it to just be, it's a fantasy thing. No, it's not. It's like any other job, man. It's like fucking carrying bricks. You know what I mean? Or swinging a hammer all day long, or working on an assembly line. The amount of discipline you put into making money, if you're healthy, should be about lifestyle and not about trying to make money. Because that is what it's truly about. If you're going to do a mom and pops thing, it is about enjoying life. Okay? And you don't work. If you start getting good gold, you don't go and just get it out as fast as you can. Because now you're turning yourself into an enterprise. And what you want to do is go, okay, so what do we need for this week to be happy? Okay, we're going to get this, and this. And then you're sitting there in your homemade toilet that has a view of a giant mountain right in front of you. The most gorgeous, beautiful mountain with a river running right in front of you. Step outside your door and the scenery is like, right out of a movie set. That is why you do it. That is why you do it. You don't do it because you want to make money. Otherwise, you need to buy, first off, you need to find some land. If you're going to go commercial, you're going to need a vast area of land or get a lease from someone else. And there's like I said, if it's where it's supposed to be, everyone knows that already. It's for lifestyle. If you want to do it for lifestyle, I'll guarantee you that anyone can do it. If you're healthy, especially like a young couple, like, if I was like 20 and I had a girlfriend that was 20, uh, you're at that age, you can work hard and you heal easy, and you can make $500 a day having fun. Or you can make $250 a day and have even more fun. See? What job gives you that? What way of making a living can give you that? A choice to say, I'm going to choose life. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to work less because I need less. I don't want as much. We spent most of our time building different kinds of dams and waterway diversions as fun, or fishing, right? Man, I walked hundreds of miles of Northern California rivers fishing. You get in trouble that way because leaving camp and walking corner after corner after corner after corner like this as the river's meandering, and every time you turn a corner, here is a fresh, original, new, beautiful postcard picture of the river running, and maybe there's a couple of old dead logs, and the water's like really deep here, running into a really deep pool, and then coming out over a shallow bank, and it's full of fish in there, and the water's crystal clear, and then the next corner, it's just as beautiful but totally different. You can walk a lot of corners. I have, trust me, where I'm like, it's nighttime, right? And I always went prepared, right? But there's times where I had to walk in the water back because I didn't have a flashlight. Yeah. It's a lifestyle thing, and yes, it's still possible to do. Okay. But you have to avoid the gold fever. People, it's not $100 bills. And, fishermen and miners, they crack me up because a fisherman is going to brag his ass off and tell you how big the fish was that he got. And a miner is going to tell you just the opposite. He's going to tell you, oh, I'm barely buying rice. That's what he's going to say. They're polar opposites, okay? Miners don't talk. If you knew where you could go pick up money, would you tell anyone? If you found a spot that had a lot of gold, would you brag that you have a place where you're finding all kinds of gold? Because I can tell you, people are not trustworthy, and they are total fucking pricks. And unless you have that land claimed as part of a federal gold claim, okay, a guy's going to throw his dredge in right next to yours, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. That's how the old mining companies, listen, this is how the old mining companies went at it up here. That's why there's still so much gold in some of the rivers, okay? It's because all their sluice boxes leak so bad. That's where the mother lode from some came from, okay? Is they ended up dumping, 200 ounces of gold on this hillside because of their, mile-long sluice boxes. And every now and again, you might get lucky and find something nice. Okay. And then there's going to be days where you don't find anything. But you see, this is the nice thing. If you're never bored, there's gold claims for sale pretty much, there's probably hundreds of gold claims for sale. And because someone thought they got all the gold doesn't mean they got all the gold. The older the claim, the better. I prefer going out on BLM land with a metal detector up in the old benches, where beaches and inside corners used to be, And now instead of being where the river made a turn like this, there'll be a gully, a big hillside, and that's the gully running down the middle. That's how erosion works. And going and working those gullies, okay, with a metal detector, if you start finding gold in an area of a certain size, then you know that that whole bench right there is probably a pay layer. And you would want to run all that dirt dry, or some people actually would carry it down to the river and run it through a little sluice box. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but you can do it. Okay, so whenever I watch, gold mining shows, I understand the realities of that. Like with Parker, he took a big gamble with Dominion. That took some balls, but he's been doing it long enough where he had a gut feeling that it might be hard, but he has a good crew, and as long as things don't go too sideways, I can sell all these extra assets. I already have a camp. He waited up and he said, okay, I'm going to make the commitment. And it turns out it was a good investment. He's going to pay that off rather quickly. Yeah. The individual, the two people, you don't need to make 7,000 ounces a season, do you? No, you only need, if you do a quarter ounce a day, that's a pretty good living. If you're talking about $500, when I saw gold at $1,800 an ounce, I thought, I was personally, I was more afraid of the market and how serious an issue it was that gold was at 18. Because I remember when gold was at 128 and then 222 and then, but when you're getting 280 an ounce for your gold and you think you're like on top of the world, and then you realize that, just a couple of years ago it was 1,800 an ounce. Yeah. Just goes to show you. Your great grandfather had to work more time to buy his, $500 car than you pay, or more hours than you work for your $25,000 car. Gold mining is a lifestyle. It is absolutely a lifestyle. I've shown all the gold nuggets and pictures and stuff that I have, and anyone can do it. Okay, you don't have to be a genius or anything else. Common sense, being unafraid of putting in the work, and being able, I guess, to have the mental wherewithal and the financial wherewithal, where if you're not finding gold, you're not in a panic. You're not without some sort of basic income. You know what I mean? I've never seen happier people in my life. Really. Bill, Betty, my mom, Ken, all these got people who were, doing the whole miners circuit thing. I've never seen happier people with fewer problems. Yeah, probably closer to happiness than anyone else, including, billionaires with their giant boats. Happiness, true contentment with life, not needing or wanting. It was pretty fucking cool. I learned a lot from that. Yeah, you can still do it. It's so this is season 14, episode 20. You can see how long Parker's been doing this. Season 14, episode 20, okay? Parker, some of these guys, they've been doing it a long time, and they understand how hard it is and what it takes. And that's why they make it, because it really is a matter of scale. If you're going to have it as a business, if you're going to buy 8 million or 12 million worth of land, You know what I mean? You better be damn sure that you can get that back out of the ground, right? You understand the chance that Parker took all the money that he'd made and saved up to that point and all the credibility that he'd built up. I mean, could have went out the window. That took some real fucking balls, man. It really did. Okay. But he understood the equipment. He's been doing it for so long that he just made a good decision that a lot of people I don't think would have made. Truly. Okay. Especially with the data he had at the time and not having enough time to think about it. When the guy told him, when Parker said, "I don't like to be rushed," the guy said, "You're not being rushed. You're late to the table." But see, the guy also looked at Parker and said, "I know I'll get my money from this guy. Everything is going to be good." Yeah. Pretty cool. Give it a try. If you're young and you're healthy, listen, don't fucking buy books. You don't need any damn books. Specific gravity is going to tell you where to look. Simple geology. When you go up and look at the land, okay, it's like, yeah, well, they took 800,000 ounces out of this right here. You know what I mean? There's gold there, and then you have to go find it. I did seminars on metal detecting when I sold gold bugs down in Walnut Creek. And I took in a bunch of gold nuggets to show these people. And I told them, and they were kind of aghast. Okay. I said, if I found a dime that said 1880, you know what I mean? Or if I found any kind of old coin or something that told me, you know what I mean, there was history here, I would move. And they were shocked because you see, they're treasure hunters. I was there to teach them how to look for nuggets. I did teach them one thing about treasure hunting that a lot of them later told me it worked for them and they appreciated it because they hadn't really thought about it. If you know gold mining with a metal detector and treasure hunting with a metal detector, let me say, okay, is two different things. Gold mining, if you find bottle caps and shit like that, okay, it's just going to be a matter of luck if you get any gold worthwhile. People have been there. You want to go where people haven't been before because gold is where you find it. It's not where it's supposed to be. It's always going to be that way. Okay? There's no way to avoid that. If you're going to be a treasure hunter, then you're a historian. And you find out where this old hotel burnt down in the late 17 or 1800s, and they had the old floorboards with the slots in them. And you mark off a grid. This is what I told them to do. You mark off a grid and you actually string it. Just like you're laying out a foundation for a home. String is cheap, okay? You lay out this big square pattern and then you replicate that pattern on your piece of board, okay? That every time you get a target, you're going to make a dot. And you walk this entire grid, okay? Which is, you need to be at least 3 times the area of the area you're searching, especially if it's old homesteads, because people didn't trust banks. And the house would burn down or it would just rot and fall away, or, you know what I mean? And these treasure hunters hadn't thought of that. And some of them used it and were successful because, you see, once you follow that entire grid out and you make every mark that's there, it's just like drawing a picture, like an artist does, okay? You can see by all of these targets that are in a square, those are all old square nails. That's the walls of the house that have burnt down or have rotted and fallen down. You can see the house. Even if it's blobby, it will show up on your paper, okay? And then over here, normally you can tell this is the shitter. This is where they threw all the old leaded glass bottles and, you know what I mean? A lot of garbage, shit like that went down these holes that they dug and they're dumps. All these homesteads, they all had dumps. But over here is a target all by itself. Over by a rock, over by a tree, over by a whatever, because people tend to bury things where they go, okay, this big giant oak tree is going to be here for a long time. And that's why they bury things by trees. That's why you bury things in old rock walls, okay? But your metal detector, if you just lay it out, you don't have to dig 10,000 false targets, because people dig up 25 square nails in a row, they tend to leave. When in reality, they were just unlucky. They were just walking down one of the walls and they kept getting target after target after target, you know what I mean? And they give up. There was no need to dig all that. I would dig one hole. I would go over here to this lone target and I would dig that. If it was a bar that had burnt down, I would do inside of the square, and that's it. Now, gold mining, if you find an old coin, you leave. If you find a bullet, a shotgun shot, you leave. Because you're just going to waste your time. What you want is when you hit a target, it's gold. And we had powerful gold bug scanners that had 10-inch elliptical coils. And those detectors, man, those things would scan deep. They were powerful. And that's all we wanted, because we want to go to places where people haven't been. And the chance of finding some nice nuggets, okay? But now they got some pretty good discriminating detectors that also are very powerful. And I would like to be able to, now that I'm old, I can't, but especially in my condition, I would like to be able to go up and walk some of those places where I've been with a discriminating detector that would tell me before I dug. Because there were so many hot rocks, even grounding out the damn detector was bad there because it was just so full of iron. The black sand this deep, you know what I mean, in areas. It would be nice to have a discriminator, okay? But I believe being isolated is your best opportunity. So either way, metal detecting or operating a dredge, or even if you're really comfortable underwater, is sniping. My nephew's wife's mom did quite well. Nice nuggets from right here around the area. My cousin Teddy found 2 huge nuggets in Clear Creek, 2 huge nuggets. Yeah, there's still a lot of gold out there. There really is. There's still a lot of gold out there, okay? But if you go where it's supposed to be, people have been there before you. Just remember that. Gold is where you find it, okay? You need to put the effort and the work in and do the research. Okay, these guys were finding a lot of gold in this area way back. And you go there, and if there's a modern campground there, you know what I'm saying? Why metal detect? You're going to be finding pull tops till you pull your fucking hair out. You need to be able to go find areas where people haven't been before, but have a history of having gold in that area because of the geology, okay? So, all right. That's your 28-minute lesson on should I try gold mining. Lifestyle, lifestyle, lifestyle. That's why you do it, okay? Some people just want to get on a boat and they go out and sail around the ocean because they don't mind eating seafood, and they have lobster and seafood every night on some beach somewhere, you know what I mean? But then, trust me, that carries dangers too. I was always afraid when I was on a sailboat down in Mexico. I was always worried because, yeah, there's pirates. Yeah. I don't know. If you're young and you're healthy, give it a shot because, again, all right, they've only collected 15% of the gold that's, ever was laying up there somewhere in placer form.